Thank you for joining us today. I'm Monica with Schola, and today we're at AECI, and I'm here with Principal Charles Gallo. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
So to start off, can you tell us about the mission here at AECI?
Our mission at AECI is to provide students with the most rigorous academic environment in order to prepare them to be successful in college, but also to prepare them for careers that would be in the civil engineering or architectural field. We also have a second school, AECI II, which is for computer engineering and innovation. And that school is basically almost the same, but the theme is different. So we work a lot with robotics, coding, programming, 3D printing, and anything involved in computer engineering.
That's amazing. And what are some of the popular careers that your students go off to when they go off to college or when they graduate?
Well, AECI I, this year we had over $1.1 million in scholarships for our graduating class. We also had 99% graduation, even under COVID. And many of our students will go to CUNY College, CUNY University, Manhattan College School of Engineering, Cooper Union. We really try to expose all of our students to industry type environment and settings so that they can really see at a young age in 10th, 9th, 10th, 11th grade what the career would be like, what academics do they need or qualifications for the degree do they need, and what colleges are out there that we can match the right student with the right college. One thing I got to say about our Board of Trustees, they've been phenomenal in supporting us and all of the resources we need for our kids. A few years ago we redid the entire drafting room, the hand drafting room, and we spent over $150,000 in furnishings and materials for the kids. This is one of our computer labs that we put up 2 years ago, and this was also a $100,000 initiative. But if you expect the students to go out and get high-performing jobs with high pay, you have to give them resources and materials so that they can succeed. So industry standards may say that they're working on something that's a 4 gig CPU and high-resolution monitors and 4K LED, and that's what we give them. So they're getting the same equipment here in high school that they would get if they were working for a high-level company doing the same job in a career.
Wow.
And we find that exposing the students to those industry standards really sets the scale, because now they pretty much know, what they're doing. By the time they get to be seniors and they've gone through our sequence of courses, they can really produce some incredible work. The work you've seen that we have posted around the building is just incredible, and these are high school kids. So the future's pretty bright.
That's amazing. And walking around the campus, you see the core values that are very apparent around the building. So can you touch a little bit more on those values?
Those values were actually selected by the students a few years ago. We wanted to pick out some core values for our students, and we presented it to our teachers during a week-long PD session when we came back in August, and they had picked out about 10. And then we said, well, it really should be up to the students now because it's their school. So all of our kids had a chance to look at the core values, discuss them, and as we finally had the last 4 that came out, which was perseverance, achievement, integrity, and respect. So those are really branded all over the building, and it's really the core of what we do with our kids. They also, at one point, we changed our logo, and the kids, we gave it to our drafting kids, and they created several logos that we brought to the Board of Trustees, and then they had accepted one of them. So students had a choice in the logo. Just like, I don't know if you noticed the stairs when you came in, we have our core values listed there. And some of our students came to us one day after drafting class and said, we have an idea. We want to put our core values on the stairs going up so that this way they're for everyone to see. And we thought, what a great idea, go ahead. So one of our teachers helped the kids in the drafting room, printed everything out, and you see the finished product when you came in the building.
Amazing. So speaking of the teachers, can you touch a little bit more about the type of learning and teaching that goes on here at AECI?
Well, we do a lot of project-based learning where the teachers basically give the kids a problem or a model, and there's an essential question that's placed to the students, and they look at it and they analyze it, and then they actually have to create something and submit something in order to be able to demonstrate that skill of what we had asked them to do. So our students really, in all our classes, it's collaborative. We use a lot of Socratic seminar in many of our English and writing classes. And in our math classes, we do a lot of grouping, where our kids will work with each other. Some of our math classrooms have whiteboards, so when we want to really check for assessment of learning, sometimes, you'll ask a student, does everybody understand? And they'll say yes, but they won't raise their hand and say no. So we use those boards for individual identification, where the problem will go on the board and we'll say, okay guys, do that problem on the whiteboard and just hold it up. And what's really cool about that is it's sort of like a little bubble from the kid's head, where you can see that's the answer, that's what they came up with, and you just look around the room and now you kind of know who may need a little extra help and who may not. We all learn at different levels, so it's just nice to keep everybody on the same plane by the end of the lesson, and that's basically what our project-based learning does, is it lets us know where the kids are based on the product that they submit at the end of the lesson or the end of the unit.
Now I want to touch on the 3 aspects that set you apart from other schools in your area and schools in the country in general. So what are those 3 things that make AECI special?
First thing I would have to say is that our goal is to get the child to be college ready and academically prepared to succeed in college, but we also focus on the moral and character development of each student. COVID really did a lot of damage to our kids and our families and our community. And when the kids come back in September, because we're going to be live in face-to-face brick and mortar education, there's a lot of work to be done with the kids so that this way those social emotional needs are addressed. So I really want to say the first thing we do is we really address the whole child and not just the academic part of it. The second thing I would say is that we do a single school counselor for every group of kids. So 9th grade will come in September. We have a certified New York State counselor who will be working with them for the entire 4 years. So they get to know all of the kids, they get to know the families, they get to know anything that might be happening in the home that might affect the child. So you really create that connection between the school and the home and the school and community, which is so important for the child to succeed. So we've heard from many parents, and I've heard this myself, that we're the only school that has contacted them so many times and kept them in the loop of what's going on with their child, and they say that we definitely know because of this that we've made the right decision in sending our child to your school. And it's just wonderful to hear, because that's what we do. We're here for the kids. It's the kids' school, it's the community, it's the parents, and that's what we do. The last thing I would say what we do is we build a lot of community within the kids. One of the things we feel is so important is student choice matters, because I don't know if you've ever heard kids say that, well, it doesn't matter what I say because you're not going to listen to me anyway. Well, that's not true. We do listen to our kids. So when we have our student government and they come to us with certain things or certain ideas that they have, we listen, we discuss it amongst ourselves, and then I'm going to say 90% of the time we implement it, because it's something that's community-based or it's something that's really helping somebody out. So I would probably say those are the 3 main areas of what we do above and beyond. There's many others, but I know that we're limited for time. And we're number 1 for impact in District 7, and last I checked, we were number 6 for academic performance out of 21 high schools. So we've had a lot of time, we've hit a lot of bumps in the road, we've lived through history right now with the pandemic that's hit us, and we're still going strong. So we're very excited to be here, we're very happy to be able to service the community.
I'm here with Derek Spalding, CEO of the AECI Charter Network. So Derek, can you tell us a little bit about what it's like working at the AECI network?
Well, it's interesting. So I am the network at this stage. We founded the network in 2019, and the idea behind that was we had one successful school. We then applied to replicate, and in 2019, if I remember correctly, we established AECI II. And so because we have both of these schools and the idea is to continue replicating in the future, we had to establish a network. And that's where my role came into play as sort of the leader of this network and almost superintendent of schools, of our set of small schools. And I think it's been a wonderful experience, because while we are small and compact, that allows me to be in buildings every day and work with our school leaders, coach our school leaders, and then think about the systems and structures that exist within our schools every day. And most importantly, I get to interact with kids on a daily basis, which probably is the most important part of the role.
Yeah. So speaking of the staff and the students, what are some of the things that drive the staff, and what are some of the interactions that they hold with the students?
I think some of the drive is being able to really give students opportunities that probably wouldn't exist elsewhere. And so having two schools that are really focused on STEM and thinking about what that means in the classes that are associated with being a STEM program, I think it's not unique to education, but how we do it, I think, really speaks to what we are and what we do. And so I think having that as a driving force for teachers then allows them to really understand the impact they're having with students in the classroom, and then also envision what their impact is going to be on the job market in the future, because they're raising students to really get involved in a very particular job market and help support students through that process. So I think that's a driving force that excites me about being part of this whole network and part of our school process.
Yeah. And can you tell the families watching about the location of both AECI II and AECI I, and where they can go online to find more information about both schools?
Oh man, so you're gonna test me. And so AECI I is located 838 Brook Avenue. We are on 158th Street and Brook Avenue, right in the South Bronx. And South Bronx is probably the hottest market for housing in the business. So I think it's a perfect opportunity to come in and experience us and the surrounding neighborhood that has gone through a renaissance in the last number of years. And then AECI II is in the process of moving to a new building that we are so excited about, and we're going to be on 169th Street off of Walton Avenue, which is still considered the South Bronx. And the reason why we're making that move is because we are growing. We are adding an 11th grade this year, so we'll be at full complement in 2 years. But right now, as a 9th, 10th, and adding on 11th grade, we have a need for more space. And we found a beautiful building that is self-sustained, where we're not sharing with any other school, and we can really grow our culture, grow our identity and who we are, still in the South Bronx, a mile from our current ACI location here. And I think it's a place where both schools are in places where we're giving the most opportunity to students that classically are underserved. The South Bronx has this moniker of being the poorest congressional district in the country, and that's a mouthful, but that says a lot. And so to have schools in this part of the Bronx that have this unforeseen identity placed on them, and now using that to provide opportunities so that they break free from this stigma and really go out and have the skills required and needed to be a force in the job market is something that we're pushing. It's something that we want all families, both that are currently in our schools and are thinking about our schools, to really think about and come in, check us out, and join us and see what we're all about.
And where can they go online to find more information about both schools?
So you can contact us at AECI Schools, AECI Schools with an S at the end, and that'll connect you with our network site. And from the network site, and we're still building that, so be kind, we'll eventually have that up and running. But if you go to the site now, you have a link to both schools and an application for either school with descriptions, and that will travel right to their website, so all in one.
Perfect. And you can also find more information on Schola.com for the AECI Charter School Network. So thank you, Derek, for joining us.
Thank you so much.